Hello once again, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Sport On. My name is Bernard Ndong, and as always, I'm here with my co-host, James Wakabi. Wakabi, I did not send you an SMS, I did not tell you anything, but I do not understand how we are both wearing the same color in terms of the cardigan.
You know this whole thing of great minds think alike?
Yes.
Well, let's go with that one. It's a lot more fitting than trying to explain happy coincidences or happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
You know, this country is very big on happy accidents.
Yes.
Every once in a while, we stumble upon something.
Yes.
We stumble upon a unicorn. We stumble upon something great. We hadn't planned for it, but it defines us.
Yes.
So given that we had a happy accident, maybe we've stumbled upon a unicorn tonight.
So is this maroon, purple, or mine is purple and yours maroon, or both are maroon?
Leave that story. Yours might be burgundy.
Burgundy.
But I'm not sure.
How do you know burgundy?
I don't know. It's there. It's one of those colors. But mostly I live with the, you know, the Richard of York.
Yes.
The Richard of York gained battle in vain. Ikikosa hapo, not too sure.
Well, of course, as I teased earlier during the news bulletin, I said we have a very, very special guest this evening on the show, the fastest man in Africa, Ferdinand Omanyala. Thank you for joining us on the show. But before we continue, of course, we had asked you online, we'd ask you this simple question regarding our guest this evening. Can Ferdinand Omanyala win the 100 meters world title in Budapest, in Hungary, later this year? That is the World Athletics Championships. It's going to be happening in Hungary later this year. Last year we had Oregon. We have another major championship happening again in 2023, and that is the World Athletics Championships that's happening in Budapest. That's the question you're asking. As usual, send in your responses at Bernard Ndong, at JWakabi, at NTV Kenya, and please don't forget to use the hashtag sport, and that will help us to be able to track your feedback as the show progresses. Wakabi, it's I don't know if this is, you know, January. It's like this is the 4th Monday of January.
Yes, there's one more.
There's one more, so it's like 5 weeks. But it's special for him because next week, Ferdinand, your season begins.
Yeah, my season begins next week. Previously, we were not planned to do the indoors.
Yes.
But now you see, it's like I'm on my peak years. So we go to December and my body was picking up so well. So we just decided, let's do this. Okay. Yeah.
Why the indoors? What attracts you to it? Because Kenyans don't like the indoors. But you seem to, you did it a lot last year and you're back this year.
Basically, I can say it's like part of training because it sharpens the first 50 part of the race. And you know, my strength is the last 50. So when I'm sharpening the first 50, it makes the 100 meters looks more perfect. Yeah.
And if I may go to a question, I'm borrowing this from last year.
Yeah.
Last year, one of the comments or one of the observations by most people was that Fedi ran from January to October, non-stop. It's like he was in a meet every single week. Is that the same plan this year?
One thing you should understand is when you have the chance to do something, just do it. Because I had the chance, I had the opportunities, why should I leave them? But it has changed because, last year I did 47 races.
47?
47 races, yeah.
Okay.
But when you do 47 races, in what? In 9 months? 6 months?
Yeah.
Is it the same as when you do 25 races, for example? When you compare with the guys who you line up with against in Budapest, who probably won't do 47, I doubt they will do 25.
Basically.
So what was your logic last year as opposed to and this year?
One thing is making money. Two is making sure that, you know, that was my first professional season and I was just excited about everything and I wanted to compete. You know, you're called, here you go. But now this year we're doing it differently. We're selecting races. So I don't think I'll get to 30 this year.
Omanyala, talking about your 2022 season, it's almost like you ticked all the boxes. You, of course, the African title, but the big one was the Commonwealth Games. Just give us a sense of how it felt for you, given the kind of background you had. Because remember, I interacted with you several years back. How did it feel for you to finally being able to compete amongst the world's best and actually dominate in certain points?
You know, when I began the sprinting, my target and my goal was to get to that level. So when I'm in that level, it feels, I feel I've achieved a lot. You understand? So me winning the Commonwealth was, it was the greatest joy because 2 weeks ago, before the Commonwealth Games, I just had a mishap in Oregon for the World Champs. And my target was again the World Champs. But now I had to pick up myself and go back and win the title in the Commonwealth Games. And you understand that my biggest rival was there. So I had to make sure that I take this away from him again. Because now I've taken so much, everything from him, basically. So Commonwealth, I did at And I remember I was telling people in November 2021 that I'll go to win the Commonwealth. The same thing I'm saying here, that I'll win the Budapest World Champs this year. Yeah.
When I interviewed you in October 2021,
Yeah.
I think, and I told you, look, Fedi, I have 2 targets for you. The times will come and go, but you need a title to your,
Yeah,
and then you went on and did it. You speak about beating your arch rival. Tell us about that rivalry with the Akani Simbine, because the two of you literally chased each other all the way last year.
Yeah, it's rivalry, of course, on track, but off track we're good friends. We talk once in a while. But you see, when you get to track, there's no friendship. It's all about who's getting the finish line the first. And it's not, this is like a boxing match. We'll talk in the press conference, we'll have a chat before that, but we get into track, I don't know you, you don't know me. It's me to beat you, because it's, everybody's on his own lane, you understand? So when you get there, it's no friendship. It's, that's like work. Yeah, it's like you're doing your job.
So when you're there, so the friendship ends once you get onto the warm-up track?
Actually, the friendship ends when the championship starts. You understand?
But do you guys get along off?
Yeah, off track we're good.
Yeah.
Off track we're good, but here we are here for business.
Which one was more special? The Africa title or the Commonwealth one?
Both were.
Both races. Which one would, if you had to pick one?
That's a hard decision, because you see, I was the African record holder, but I was not the African champ, so that meant a lot. And then the Commonwealth Games, that was like after 60 years. We've never had such a title, so that again was very monumental.
If I was to pick one, I'd pick the African one. Because it was 9.927 and him, he was out 9.93. Like it was 0.03 of a second.
3,000 of a second.
I think for me, mine would be the most special race would be that one for the Commonwealth. Because 6 decades since, of course, Kenya dominated that particular race, I think was special. I'm interested in understanding, of course, that is Akani Simbine, but you also have a lot of rivalry from the Americans. How has it been? Because you can imagine you're an outlier. We are known for the middle distance races, we're known for the long distance races, but here comes Ferdinand Omanyala and announces himself that in the short distance races, we can also compete amongst the world's best. How has that been for you?
One thing I've learned is that doing something different is so interesting, because you see, I'm doing something that Kenyans are never known for, and you end up being the talk of town every day. You understand? So that being said, I announced my arrival in the world stage, and that has been it. That has always been the fact that Omanyala is there. So that what I wanted to do is to stamp my authority, that this was not a fluke. We did not just come here for once and go back. We want to come here and to stay and to leave a legacy. So that's what it's all about. I don't care about who is on the track with me. So long as we're there on the same track, it's me who is the best here, and the confidence that I have and I've carried in here will carry me through that win.
Some would say, unfortunately, of course, there is interesting feedback regarding how you approach races and in general. Some would say you can be a bit overconfident, some are almost saying cocky.
You see, 400 meters is not like marathon. Because 100 meters is like you're going into, it's 9 seconds. 9 seconds. And you need to build everything within that 9 seconds. You know, like long distance, you have time to think, how will I run this pace, how will I run this lap or something. In 100 meters, you don't have that time. So I like going into competitions with my head high. It doesn't matter if I'm in good shape or in bad shape. But the moment I'll start getting into your head, you'll have to crack.
So it's a tactic.
Basically.
Some athletes struggle under the spotlight. And I think Akani is one of them. Every time Akani has gone, even in Tokyo, even in Rio 26, everyone thought he could get something. But he seems to almost sort of shrink. You seem to thrive. You seem to enjoy the pressure. You seem to enjoy all the cheering. Now, I wonder whether that's a tactic or that's just part of your personality.
I think that's natural. I know it's natural, because anytime we have a very pressurizing race, and then we get into the stadium, and I look up and look at the fans, I look at people around the stadium, all the pressure disappears. And now it's me turning into a beast. And making, like, even if I have an injury, I don't know where it goes. It always picks me up off the finish line. So I think it's something that's in me.
Do you ever get nervous? Because listening to what you're saying, like you're usually confident, you're so certain of your abilities. There's an expression I read about recently, it's called self-efficacy, where you are able to believe in your abilities, that you can be able to succeed based on your capacity. Do you ever get nervous? Do you ever get unsettled in a race and you're thinking, okay, today I'm not at 100%?
No, I don't allow that to get into my mind. The only time I get nervous is like 3 weeks to my races, because towards the race, I always visualize my races so many times that I get over that nervousness. So it's just when you think about the race, you're okay. When you get to the race, it's just to actualize it. And the funny thing is that I always think about my races when I win and when I lose, because it can go two ways. So when you get to the race, you make sure that it doesn't go the other way, where you lose. You make sure it goes the way that you're winning. So for me, it's the actualizing, the visualizing of the races that really helped me a lot. And then put in the confidence, and you add to races where there's press conferences. I love such races because that's where you speak what you want to speak. Yeah, sometimes I talk and then go back home and look myself at the mirror and ask myself, is you who's been saying all that? There's a time I told the silver and the gold medalist of the Olympics that I'm going to beat you. And it helped, by the way, I beat them. Yeah,
so part of it is mind game.
Yeah, part of it
is like mind game. Sort of, it's sort of like a game of the mind. Because look, Usain Bolt is the one who came with the whole clowning around. Because if you remember back in the days, Gatlin, Maurice Green, they were always serious and all chest puffed out. Then Usain Bolt came and sort of relaxed everything. So, and I get the feeling you are more towards the Usain Bolt place, where you engage the crowd, you make everyone know you are here. But I wonder, is there a time when, if you see Marcel Jacobs and you see Fred Curley and you see, I don't know, Trayvon Bromell, do you ever look at them and go like, I'm in a battle tonight, or for you it doesn't matter?
Of course, if you're lining up with people who have been in that level, you have to acknowledge their presence. But then, when you get to track, there's no acknowledging of presence here. We're all in the same ground, we're all in the level ground, because there's no time written for everybody, for anybody in that track that time. Your time is going to be written when you cross that finish line. So for me, I don't look at anybody when you get to the start. It's who is the best, and I always believe, so long as I get a good start, nobody's going to catch me.
Of course, this is something that every athlete has to experience at one particular point in their career. How do you cope with injuries? Because you've been consistent. I don't think at any point I've had that Omanyala is not taking part in a particular race because of an injury. How do you avoid that? I know it's inevitable at one particular point in time. We want to know, you said you've ran in some of the races and you felt like you had an injury. But how do you ensure that you are almost 100% each and every time?
So as an athlete, you have to do your body some service, like just cast we do. So I always do my sessions, my physiotherapy sessions, like 2 or 3 times a week, so that you just make sure that your body has no cramps, because most of the injuries that sprinters get is the hamstring injuries. So you just make sure that your hamstrings are aligned, with the muscle are aligned, and everything is fine. Drink a lot of water, have enough rest. Not that the time you're supposed to be resting, maybe you're doing some party somewhere. So just be disciplined. Yeah.
I mean, it's a long season. How much discipline is needed to be able to do 47 races in a year? What are those things you sacrifice every single day in your day-to-day life to be able to do the 47 races in a year?
I don't think I sacrifice a lot, because you have to wake up early, you have to make sure that your diet is right, you have to make sure that you're eating the right stuff, you have to make sure that you're getting to the races in time.
What's the right stuff?
The right stuff,
about eating food, for example. I want your normal day-to-day sacrifices. Don't go into the technicals. Just the things that Dong and I enjoy, you can't, because you have to stay in tip-top shape.
I think you guys love going out. I don't do that. I don't go out for parties or, such like stuff.
Even if you win a race, like when you won the Commonwealth, that night you didn't?
No, it's just in my room. Just, the best thing you can do is just to give God thanks and say thank you for a great season, thank you for a great race, and maybe drink Del Monte.
Food-wise, what do you have to not touch, not use, not eat?
There's always one day a week for cheat meals, like pizza.
Oh, even you have cheat days?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah. What do you cheat with?
Spaghetti, I suspect. You all know why spaghetti.
What do you cheat with?
Burgers and pizzas. Yeah. Like
but on your normal days, there are foods you have to avoid, I'm assuming. What are the kind of foods you have to avoid? What are some of the things Dong and I enjoy you can't, at least between January and November?
Food's high in cholesterol, you understand? So you don't have to take food that has so much fat in it.
I want examples.
So like breakfast, like today breakfast. You're preparing for your first race next week. So what did you have for breakfast today? How many meals do you eat in a day?
It depends, because I always have snacks at 10 and 4 p.m. So those are 2 meals, and then the normal 3 meals. That's like 5 meals a day. Breakfast, typical breakfast is like maybe like 5 eggs, and then
I also do 5 eggs.
5 eggs.
I'm joking.
Groundnuts, milk.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So-
then
So, like, do you have a nutritionist? Because does that inform what you're going to eat?
yeah. I have
Okay.
a nutritionist. She's called LED. Yeah, she programs and writes everything. Sometimes she comes home with and she cooks over the weekend with my wife, so that she prepares the food for the next week. So she takes care of that.
Okay. But that's breakfast. And then lunch.
Everything.
Lunch. Okay. So you've said breakfast. Like today, you had 5 eggs. What do you have for lunch?
Lunch basically like 3 plates of rice and that's a snack. You understand? Because you have to
3
go for
plates
the-
of
yeah.
rice is a snack. that's
Because you have to go for training at 3. I always mix. Sometimes you take mincemeat, sometimes you take beans, different types.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be telling us what you have for dinner. Let's take a very short break. We're back with this interaction with Ferdinand Omanyala, the fastest man in Africa. Stay tuned.
I looked for another oncologist so he can give you a second opinion. I got you an appointment for tomorrow.
No, wait, Meadows, it's not necessary that we do that. I trust my doctor.
I am the owner. Okay, sir, would you move along now?
You'll have to forgive me if I'm stubborn, but these papers cannot be right.
Why can't they be right?
Because you should know that the owner of this bakery is me.
I'm sorry?
I'm very sorry to tell you this, madam, but I am afraid that you have been swindled.
It had to be you.
Phase 5 is now selling, and as we promised, we have already done roads, water. Call this number 0790 300 300. Invest today with Optiven and become a philanthropist.
Kidani Mabati Roofing Tips. Did you know a proper roofing should be durable and affordable?
Kidani Mabati, located along the Eastern Bypass, Kamakis, have you in mind with amazing offers. We also have a Lipa Pole Pole option and free delivery countrywide. Call us today on 0708 111 105, 0708 111 106 or SMS to 24900 to place your order.
Oh, we're here having a quartet. You're going to take the oxtail and then you're going to brown it.
Right, welcome back to Sport. And of course, this evening we are privileged to have Ferdinand Omanyala. He's the African 100 meters champion and the Commonwealth gold medalist, just to reflect on 2022 and preview 2023. And remember, the question we're asking is related to our guest this evening. We're asking you, will he win the men's 100 meters world title at the World Athletics Championships that's going to be happening in Budapest in Hungary? So that's the question we've been asking you. Let's take a look at your feedback responding to that particular question. And very interesting sentiments, of course, a lot of positivity. And This is Evans Kasmai Kiptulon. You say we are here to welcome him. Kwanza mimi ndio volunteer. Taweka springboard yake mbele kidogo kuliko ya kila mtu. I don't understand what he's talking about.
Like I'll give him a head start.
Okay.
Like if he needs a springboard, I'll give him a springboard just to make sure he does it.
Okay, I get you. Because I think my mind went to swimming.
Yes, and then moving on, let's see the second one. And someone says, inawezekana, amen. Yeah. Okay, so you see that's Isaac Lead saying yes, inawezekana. Then Tony says, hiyo ni jibu tayari, which means, what are we asking? It's a statement more rather than a question. Then Modera says, not really. Well, you'll always have your doubters. Yeah. And then Churchill says, 100% impossible is nothing. So you can get the sense of feeling, Fedi, that everyone is so expectant. Because you've done it at the Africa level, you've done it at the Commonwealth level, and everyone is thinking, this is your year.
Yeah.
How would you summarize your goal for 2023?
I have 3 major goals this year. To break the African record, and I'm projecting it will be at Kasarani, the Kipkeno Classic.
May 13th.
May 13th. And then to win the World Championships in Budapest, and to lift the Diamond League trophy. Those are my 3 major.
That's interesting. So goals. You've mentioned the Diamond League trophy. You were conspicuously absent from the Diamond League races in 2022.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, or why didn't you take part in this? Because I know you participated in some fringe races, but not Diamond League.
Diamond League. Because most of the Diamond Leagues last year were 200 meters, and most of the time they were colliding or clashing with the championships. So I chose to go for the African Champs and leave Rome and Rabat. I chose to go for Commonwealth. The day that we are running the relay, there was the Poland Diamond League. So with that, you cannot get an invite to the finals because you haven't done even one. So that was the reason. But this year, we're doing more of Diamond Leagues.
I've almost gotten the feeling as if they are refusing to invite you to that top table.
No.
That's my theory.
No,
I keep telling Dong. And I've been saying it. I said it in our show last year. I said, I want you to get crashed that party. You see that one where they get Simbine in the Diamond League finals, Simbine in all the Diamond Leagues, and then you are not there. And I've been wondering, what do you have to do to make sure, imeza kubwa niko hapo?
No, this year we're there.
You're there.
And funny thing is that the finals is in Oregon. Yeah.
That's a good place to take us because last year, Kenyans were half disappointed, half angry, half frustrated, and we were angry and frustrated with everyone, with the US Embassy, with Omanyala himself, with AK, with everyone. What really happened?
I'll say I got my visa, so we just better leave that story. It's now in the past. It will spike some other conversations, which is no...
That you don't want to go into.
Yeah.
So you say you're taking part in the Diamond League. Just give us an overview of some of them. I'm assuming, have you farmed up the races that you want to take part in for 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the timetable out by the management. So Rabat will be one of the ones that we'll be looking forward to run. Rome, Diamond League. We'll be looking forward to run in Monaco, Diamond League in Monaco.
Fast track. Very fast track.
And then Brussels. Again, we'll be looking forward to run in Brussels. And then I will finish off with the finals in
And the interesting thing about Diamond Leagues, I think some of the races, if you actually clock a time, it's recognized.
All of it?
Yes,
all of it,
yeah. Basically, because I wanted that. I want you on that part. You see that high table?
Yeah.
That's where I want to, so that I see what do we do when you are meeting these guys every single week. You know, because when you beat Fred Kali, for example, in Nairobi last year, he was very angry and he kept saying, we will meet in Oregon. So I just wanted to know whether we can get a chance for you to go with them toe to toe.
We have the chance this year.
Look, 5 years ago, you are starting this thing. Not many people knew you were there, like you are telling us off air. How have you dealt with that shift in all of a sudden you are Omanyala, public figure, a brand, everyone wants a piece of you? How has that changed your life?
Basically, status has changed. But then me as a person have not changed because I understand that I can never forget where I come from because I've been to the lowest point. And now God has lifted me to the highest point. And, you know, I'll never forget where I come from. So that part has always kept me grounded. And just to understand that, yeah, I'm a public figure. And being kind to people doesn't cost anything. Yeah.
But the attention to you, to your family, to everything you do, you can. I'd like to know how it feels when you walk. When was the last time you walked through Nairobi? Walked down a whole street?
No, it's
because I don't think you can.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
I don't think you can. So that comes with its own different pressures, doesn't it?
It does, but I always don't put pressure on myself, because I understand that, you know, it's for the moment. At some point, you know, I'll not be running anymore, and people won't be, you know, so hyped with you the way they are now. So that part keeps me grounded. And, you know, when someone comes to you for a photo or an autograph, just pose and give it to them.
Omanyala, aside from even the attention, it also has come with certain perks. You're now a police officer. Tell us about that, if you're able to speak. And also how it felt being appreciated at the Sports Personality of the Year Awards.
Yeah. About the police, people say I've trained online. I went for training. I was there. I was in Kiganja.
Tell us a little bit about it. How long were you there? How tough is it? Is it true that they make you wake up at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, basically it's not even at 3. We wake up at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
to do a long run for 2 hours, up to 4, and then you come back, take your breakfast, go for parade from 4:30.
So what happened for you? Because you know you mean that
I was doing everything.
So you like 25 heads.
It's what you used to do. It was an off season. I went there in October.
Okay. Yes.
And thank God, one of my great friends, I have to mention his name, Shikanga. He was like there for me. You understand? He was there for me. He welcomed me. He was brushing my shoes. He was washing my clothes.
Yeah.
He was taking care of everything. No queuing when going for supper. I just go direct to the dining hall. But I was there. I was there for the 1 month.
So you're there for how long?
1 month. I ate anything they were giving me. I said I'm doing everything they were to do. So I was not being given any special treatment.
They made you shave your hair.
Exactly. No, this one is because I just want to give people a different, you know, people are used to athletes being, you know, track stuff. So I just thought of coming with a different shade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did it feel being honored?
I really wanted to get that title again for the second year, but it went to Kipchoge. Respect to him, because he's done a lot for this country. But next year, I'm really working hard that I get it next year and have another title on my head. But it was an honor being on the second place.
There's something you've just touched on, and I felt like it's important to also appreciate. Omanyala has become a brand.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that brand remains to some extent? Because, you know, it also comes with these pressures. We've seen, unfortunately, a lot of issues are happening around sporting personalities globally. How do you keep yourself out of being found in unfortunate situations? How do you keep yourself in a position whereby your brand remains as clean as it is? I know family is very key for you as well.
Yeah, and one thing is that family has really helped me, because I always think that if at all I could not have a wife, a kid, I don't know how my life will be now. And then you see, for sprints, it takes a lot of time, because we do a lot of training sessions. We take like mostly sometimes we go into 9 hours a day. So imagine you're getting off from track, you're so tired, you don't have anything else in your mind. The only thing is in your mind that is to eat and to sleep and to repeat the same tomorrow. So no time for a lot of things.
So just help me understand how important family is as well. Like, how does it keep you grounded? Maybe perhaps that I should have asked.
Yeah, so you see, anything you're doing, you're training, you're competing, you're signing contracts, you have to remember that your family has to live a good life. Because, you know, they've been there with you all this time. Your wife has been taking care of you all this time. So you have to make sure that also you take care of them. So anything you're doing, it doesn't matter whatever you are, wherever you are, you remember the family back at home.
Even attention from some of interesting fans. How do you cope with
that? You know, interesting fans, you mean women?
I was just being diplomatic. His wife is somewhere within the street. I don't want to put him in trouble.
No, you see, for women, someone texts you today and then you reply after 1 month. I think she replies, you reply after 2 months. I think she'll get tired. And sometimes you just ignore. Yeah.
How do you build your brand so that it goes beyond the sport, beyond you running? When you see Usain Bolt and things he's doing even now, what do you have to do to build a brand like that? Because in Kenya, when you think athletes and brand, you think of only one. Think of Eliud. After Eliud, it's a struggle. What do you have to do to build your brand into something that outlives you competing?
You see now the part where you are a showman. For me, I believe that's what defines me. Because I know people want to work with you in different ways apart from the track. See, like the way you are socializing with people, they're interacting with people, different people, how you're speaking, that makes a huge difference. Yeah.
I've seen how you've also been, as much as from your busy schedule, you've been involved in a lot of other ventures. You're passionate about the environment. Tell us about that. And also, I've seen you're trying to nurture future sprinters.
Yeah. Even plus doing different marathons that are directed into health. I've done autism marathon, I've done heart and cancer run. So I'm passionate about that because I understand, I have some family members who have gone through that and it has really affected us. So I want to at least use my influence to help someone somewhere in some village somewhere. So I'll continue doing that, and soon we'll be launching a foundation that will be dealing with that. And then also nurturing other sprinters. The foundation will also have a branch that takes care of that, because the foundation will have 3 main pillars: to nurture sprints, to take care of climate change, and to make sure that health is guaranteed for different Kenyans. So that's what we'll be venturing on, and I'm passionate about it. And climate change, you've seen me planting trees on my birthday, and my target this year is to plant 1 million trees. I've already launched it, so I just hope that Team Environment Kenya, who I'm working with, will make sure that they see into that happens. Yeah.
Let's talk about your studies. I mean, when you first broke into the scene, University of Nairobi student, doing great things. How is that going? How is that side of your very busy life going?
Busy life. My other life, I'm a chemistry student, Bachelor of Science chemistry student. I'm going back to school this month because I deferred, but then we have an agreement with the university that I can, get into class those times that I'm not that busy. For practicals, because basically practicals is the most important part about this course. So we'll be making an arrangement with different lecturers. You come in wherever you have time, whenever the lecturer has time, do the practicals, write the reports, and then that's done.
Why did you do chemistry university?
When I did my KCSE, I passed mathematics and chemistry, and I had passion for them. So I was looking for a course that includes both. So Bachelor of Science chemistry includes both mathematics and chemistry.
That's a biochemist, isn't it?
No, it's pure chem.
Pure chem.
Yeah, pure chem. But has mathematics in it.
So in your career, how is it just something that is just running parallel to your career? Is it something that eventually maybe perhaps you want to venture in post athletics?
Right now I can't tell because I have so many things after math plans. But now that I'm in the police attached to the DCI, I think maybe sometimes later I might go into forensics, into a lab somewhere and practice the chemistry. Yeah.
Why did you join the DCI? What's your motivation? When I think about it, because superstar, brand, top athlete, and then DCI.
You wear many hats.
And then DCI.
Jack of all trades.
Yes.
DCI because of my chemistry. Because that's where I can only practice the chemistry. Yeah.
So you go in, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Actually, it's made me think about it. And when you look at somebody like you, and I know other sportsmen and women who also do other things, of course, the importance of also having an education. For you, is it something that you also encourage other athletes as well, so that there's somewhat of a plan post-athletics as well?
Yeah, because anytime I talk to young athletes, I always tell them, remember education first. Because for me, education is what gave me the platform of being where I am today. Because I always think if I could not have come to Nairobi to study, then maybe I could not get the opportunities that I've gotten when I'm in Nairobi. So it's education first that gave me the platform. So I always encourage athletes, whatever the case, you have a fallback plan after athletics is done, because we never run forever. At some point, you'll get to the level, an age where you have to retire. So where will you retire to? Sometimes it's good to have these papers, and also for just exposure and the open-minded. You become an open-minded person. You interact with different people in the society, different social classes, so you get to understand how things work in life. Yeah.
There's a big problem in Kenyan athletics. Huge problem. Okay. Doping is a big problem.
Yeah.
Now you are one of the few people who have gone through something like that and managed to get out, or managed to show, look, this is what happened, this is what. First of all, what do you think about it? How big is the problem? And what would be your advice?
Yeah, we have a problem as far as doping is concerned, but I'll say the source is the problem. because we have people coming into the country, managers, we have doctors who are coming and doing the business. We are only blaming the athletes, and sometimes you find that athletes don't know what they are taking in. They're doing this non-intentionally. They're not intentionally dopers. So you understand that you have to draw that line in between.
How do you, for example, take care of yourself?
Personally, I have a personal doctor. I have a personal physiotherapist. So anytime I feel sick, I don't just go and buy drugs. I just don't go to any doctor to prescribe medicine for me. I have to call them. It doesn't matter what situation you are in. You have to call them so that they know what you're going through, so that they can prescribe or maybe come to your aid.
Does the same thing happen for supplements? Because supplements, again, another big problem that gets a lot of athletes in trouble. How do you take supplements, and how do you select what to take?
So you see, with supplements, it's a bit tricky because you never know where the source is. But I only trust one company. This company that I trust, we have an MOU. So the supplements they bring, they make sure that it's safe. Yeah.
And it's interesting you've mentioned that. That means that you have to have another heightened level of caution in anything that you put inside your body. Just help us understand inside, for example, you go to an event, you offered soft drinks, water. How do you go about it? Like, because you can imagine you never know what you might partake, and then it's...
So you see, personally, I don't eat where they bring food to me with a single plate. If it's a buffet, then that's fine. But then, if you doubt, if you have any doubt, because basically humans always trust their guts. If you have any doubt, or maybe they bring to you water and it's opened, or the seal is broken, you should not take it. Or let's say you bring to me the water, I drink it, and then I leave. Maybe just go and pick something out here. I can't come and drink the same water. I have to get another bottle. So that's how cautious and paranoid you should be.
And in terms of testing, how is it for you? Because I know there's also out of competition. While in competition, how is the scenario for you? Because I'm very certain that there's a heightened level of attention towards you, given the fact that you're one of the few Kenyan sprinters who is flourishing.
Yeah, WADA, Athletics Integrity Unit, are doing their job. So anytime I may be called upon to go for testing, to give them a sample. So like we are in the whereabouts, the account that you update wherever you are, what time, whatever you're doing. So that's what they use. They come to you anytime. They don't tell you they're coming. So I'm always being tested. Last year I was tested more than 35, I think 40 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 40 times is what? It's almost once a week.
Yeah, once a week. There's a day I was tested in the morning, and then I was tested in the evening by Anti-Doping of Kenya. So it's
how are you able to, we had this question last week when we wondered, once you get tested and then the result doesn't come out tomorrow, how are you able to continue? we had that question here a week ago. How are you able to continue being focused even though you know there's 5 tests I've done in the last 4 weeks?
Maybe if you might not be focused, maybe if you know that you've taken something wrong. But so long as you know you're clean, you just move on with life. Sometimes you end up looking at the results maybe even 4 months later because you know you're just okay. Yeah.
In terms of your competition, because you've been largely focused on the 100 meters, and it seems like 200 meters has been put in the back burner. Are you still considering to double the distance, or have you decided to focus on 100 meters?
No, especially this season, I'm more focused on 200 meters. I want to break that national record of 20.14, and I'm looking forward to having international competitions in 200 meters. Yeah.
Tell me about what that.
Oh, yes. This one?
Yeah.
This
966. Why do you have 966 there?
Every time I train and I feel like giving up, I always look up to this band here. 966. This is the African record that will be running in. I've already fast forwarded it to Kipkeno Classic. So this is the time that will be on the board.
966.
966. May 13.
Yeah, May 13.
So 966.
African record gone.
The record is 9.59, right?
No, the world record is 958.
958
yeah.
for Usain Bolt.
Yeah. So he was looking for 966. Currently it's 977.
77, yeah.
So you okay, not bad. You actually earlier, maybe a year ago, you told me about 95.
Yeah.
954.
954.
957.
957. 957.
Are you closer to it?
The way my body feels this season, I think it might come sooner than we thought.
957.
Yeah.
But for starters, I'll settle for 966.
966 this season. This is my target this season. And I believe, like I said, Kipkeno Classic, we're breaking the African record.
Next week you're going to France. Just tell us about the race they're going to compete in, and just an overview of your next 1 month as we build up to the different major races that are going to be taking part in.
The next, from 4th to 14th, I'll be doing a series of indoor tours in France, just in France, for 2 weeks. That's like training, but also competition, because I love competing. And then after that, we'll come back. We have a meet at Nyayo Stadium on 24th and 25th. So that's where we want to run the world lead in 100 and 200 meters. And then we'll have a break. There'll be like a month break, and then I'll leave for South Africa for a training camp and do like two Grand Prix.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has been your experience? Because I know last year you almost did the similar thing where you traveled and you were training abroad. What key things did you learn from those camps that made you feel like it took your running to another level?
Basically, there's not much, but just a few things. Because where I am now with my coaches, we just need to add very few things and to correct very few techniques here and there so that it brings a difference.
For example, maybe like a few things.
Like we noticed last year that my glutes were so tight. So the only thing we did was to release them so that your hips can move in a wheel sort of movement. So that's the only thing we noticed and we changed. And then on the block stats, there was like you need to change a bit of few inches back so that you can have a comfortable position at the block so that you can get a good start. So those are the nitty-gritties that you are working on.
Yeah, because I know the start was one of your to-do list, need to improve list. Yeah. And I can tell you this, when you started off in Commonwealth, first 10 meters, I knew you would want it. Because your start in Commonwealth was probably, I can almost say probably the best or second best of the whole year.
Yeah.
How far has that come along?
Right now, we are getting it more oftenly in training. So I believe we'll have better races this year.
Do you watch football? You know, this weekend, everyone must choose a side.
What I know is that Arsenal won against Man U yesterday.
Omanyala, I know you used to play rugby as well.
That was a confession.
We can still change the topic to rugby. I watched the Hamilton Sevens this weekend.
So how does it feel sometimes? So you know you started playing rugby before and then now you transitioned to athletics. Do you still watch the game sometimes? Do you sometimes miss it?
No, I never miss rugby, sevens especially. But basically all the rugby matches, like last year I never missed any 15th game. Okay. Because of the qualification to the World Cup. I never missed any under 20 games because I just love watching rugby. Okay. Yeah.
Finally, thank you so much for joining us. There's a confession that Omanyala will tell you.
Yes.
I'll ask him this question. So, Omanyala, which Kenyan journalist has ever beaten you in a race?
I'll say it's you. But it was, okay, let me not say the other one.
How much of a head start did he have? It's okay, be honest.
I'll say it off air.
You'll say it off air?
but which Kenyan journalist?
He won.
So it's official. So Wakabi, shima kidogo. So if you ever try to test me on the track,
you should show him the video.
Yes, I will show him the video.
There's actually a video. There's actually video evidence.
There's evidence where I beat Ferdinand Omanyala. Of course, he gave me a head start of several meters.
Finish line.
Yes. Omanyala.
The only thing was supposed to dip.
Right now, let's focus on something else. Let's take a look at some of the interesting things that have been happening in terms of sport at the short of the weekend. We'll be having that shortly. And of course, Wakabi, this is a volleyballer, obviously.
Yes, beautiful picture that one. Yes. We all know everyone. All eyes were on Kasarani because the volleyball, the season was coming to a climax, and Pipeline versus KCB was one of those games where everyone was like, let's see what happens. Remember, KCB are the African champions, and they did beat Pipeline on the way. So this is Pipeline's Pamela Adhiambo reacting. I can only, from the way it looks like she's just had a good, nice smash. Yes. And she's celebrating, moving away.
She was also the MVP of the playoffs because I think she played a very critical role to help Kenya Pipeline win the title against KCB. You can see how much it meant for her. They're celebrating. Now let's move on to what else has been trending online, on the timeline, on social media.
Fedi should take this one.
No, I don't understand anything. I just know this Arsenal and this. And it seems like
yes, who is king? Who is the king now?
I think the main thing is who's shared it. Yes, because it's Gabriel who's shared it, and that's him on the picture, looking down on Bruno Fernandes, and it's sort of a case of get up, like get up. But then you can also look at it as Arsenal looking down on you.
But also Manu should understand that kutangulia si kufika.
I don't envy your timeline after this. We have another, of course, it still revolves around what transpired in the past week in terms of sports. Now, this was an interesting one. The two GOAT GOATs were reunited to some extent. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo playing against Lionel Messi in this friend. Of course, it was a dead rubber match. It was a friendly. I'm still here to understand why it was being played.
An exhibition.
Exhibition, yeah. But yeah, he was playing for the Al
Nassr.
Al Nassr combination.
Al Nassr combined something.
Versus PSG. PSG won that particular fixture. But it was interesting to see the two reunited once again.
Yeah, look, I think we are stretching the narrative. As the world doesn't want to let go of Cristiano versus Messi, but the truth is that it's gone. But when you see, especially what they write, when you finally meet your idol, just the way Messi is looking at him looks like they've made it to look as if he absolutely idolizes Cristiano. Whereas we all know relationships between the two are not the greatest.
Yes.
They are cordial with each other. They are more like Akani and Fedi.
No, mine is better. Mine is better. Don't compare us with
the last one. Yes. So, well, Liverpool have had a tumultuous season. It's almost they've hit reverse gear. Remember, there's a fixture they had over the weekend, the match against Chelsea. So much expectations, but as we said, ilikuwa vita, we won't mention what David Kwalima said. Carry on.
If ever there was a meme that says a lot and has a lot of truth in it, I think this has it. Because the truth is, since Sadio Mane left, Liverpool look a pale shadow of themselves. Of course, it's not just Sadio Mane. They have other issues. The players are maybe too old. The players are burnt out, like Klopp said. But the truth of the matter is, since he left, it looks like he was the one who was doing all the donkey work. Hence the picture of the way he was carrying Liverpool all the season. Now that he's not there, they are stuck in what, 9th place?
Yes.
9th, 8th, 9th, somewhere there. Yeah.
Tinkering around that area.
Yeah, they're hanging in mid-table. So if there is a meme that makes a lot of sense, that would be the one.
Right. And that sums it up for us this evening. Thank you so much. Ferdinand Omanyala, all the best
Asante
as you kickstart your season next week in France. And from the entire team,